for taking the time to come and hear about some new ways that I would like to think about geography, that I do think about geography, and hope that educators of the future will think about geography. The topic of today is virtual tourism as the new geography class. We're getting there. As Terry said, my name is Justin Farrow. My mom named me that. It took a lot of paperwork to change it, so in efforts to try to go paperless here, I'm going to just keep it that way. I've changed my name to the Lighthouse Keeper. I look better online. And these are 4 ladies that are currently on a sailboat in between Panama Canal and Hawaii. They're going to be on the boat for 29 days. What we do in the Beautiful Nation Project, well, just skip around a little bit there. I build communities online. A lot of things that I pack into these communities are geographic referenced. They all happen in a place that people can think about as a place that has distinct characteristics. These things help people understand spatial relationships. What you see here are some of the surveyors in one of my networks that I built. But these are called geosocial networks because instead of being just a social network, the places where these conversations are happening actually make the conversations what they are. Oh, that's why I'm clicking here instead of here. Goodness. Bringing together is my passion and my science. As Terry said, I'm studying anthropology. I hope to transfer that to classrooms around the world. First, we're going to talk about what a map is. A map is a symbolic depiction highlighting relationships. What a map really is a way of showing spatial relationships and the puzzles that they create. We all learn maps differently. This particular map here is a map of my mom's house. On the right here, we've got a map of my mom's house, and we've got some of the cool things that we can do with maps these days. That is a stereoscopic street view, which is a more exciting way of showing a kid a place on a map or even a street view. Showing them to them, get their mind thinking and fostering that natural curiosity that kids have is very important to the process of learning, as Vanessa was saying earlier, and Joseph. For the first time in history, we all share a single map. We can all reference where we are, where we're going, where we've been, and what we would like to do on this map. And when I show you on this map where I'm going next, you have a good idea of where it might be, even if you haven't ever been there. But if I ask everyone in this room to draw a map, every map would be different. So, one of my overarching themes here is that geographic literacy is a survival skill, and it's essential to a whole education. Even though we're removing it from classrooms, we're removing it from curriculum, it's still so important that we understand it as a multidisciplinary education. Geography isn't just about places on a map. It's about life, and preparing kids with geography prepares them for the future and prepares them for the world that we may not be around to see. But in 2080, as Vanessa was saying, when these kids that are going into class right now, when they get out of school in 2080, most of us won't be here. But we will still have to have prepared them for the world that they do live in. So what I'd like for you to do, my little speech here is broken into 3 parts, and it's called Picture Yourself Here. The first little point is a picture. I'm going to paint one for you here. This is a picture of what you would see, or what if you were at the Walt Disney World and you were blind. This is a Braille map of how to get around Walt Disney World. Some pictures literally say 1,000 words. Literally. But it would take 1,000 pictures to convey an experience. I'm not sure why that is not moving, but it's supposed to. Maps Paper maps are great, but they're great for referencing places if you're in prison, but not in class. Teaching geography from paper maps is similar to trying to derive nutrition from eating dollar bills. It just doesn't really work that well. Memorizing words meant to represent places on a map is boring, but we need to turn lights on for kids. We need to do more. So let's do more. None of these animations are really working so well, so what we'll do here is this is what we need to do more. We need to go further for kids. We need to think about the textbooks we hand them. We need to think about the information that we give them, and it can't be loosely floating around in space. These tidbits of information that we expect kids, once equipped, to go into the world with, they need to be connected, and they need to be in a place that can be referenced, can be explained. We need to give them experiences about these places to absorb. We need to immerse them in cultures and provide classroom activities that they can continue at home. Traditional geography just doesn't do this. It's not places on the map. Virtual tours can. Some people think about virtual tours as being artificial intelligence, AI that's going to one day make the rise of the machines happen, but I think of AI as assisted intelligence. I think about virtual tours as a way of bringing the world into the classroom and giving kids something that they can understand more than just a place on a map. Memorization doesn't happen well for everyone. It's not a good way. Some people can get through school through memorization. I personally had to study harder because I'm a visual learner, and I am not able to see math problems as immediate. I don't see the answers to math problems. I need them to be laid out a little clearer for me. So, just like geography, if we want kids to be excited about going places in the world, we need to show them what that place is about. We need to show them what happens there. We need to show them how other kids live in the world, and we need to get them excited about it. And so what I think a virtual tour is, or virtual tourism, is a vehicle for change and a tool for achieving geographic literacy. Historically, we think about geographic literacy as we do. We make our maps as we teach literature. Literature has socioeconomic barriers that cannot be understood across borders. Literature is usually understood best in someone's first language, primary language. If you try to put this into a global context, you're going to immediately confuse children. So what we do is we put ourselves there. So picture yourself. Just imagine you're a third grader. How many in here are still third graders? All right, good. Imagine you're a third grader and you have a global mentor and a traveler who's traveling for you. This is Tonya. This happens to be the captain of the ship that I follow around the world and I bring into the classroom. Tonya is your virtual friend and a traveler at sea. What Tonya does is she experiences these places for you and catalogs them, documents them, and brings them into the classroom and teaches kids how other kids are living in the world. We look at how energy is being handled in other parts of the world, and water scarcity, water quality, renewable energies, food. We look at how other kids live, we present that to the kids that are following our journey, and we give them a point of reference for how the world really is. We bring it into the classroom in the form of videos, storytelling, and photographs. They follow as a class. They get excited about it. They know where they're going next. They know where they've been, and they can talk about it. So now you have a reason to learn geography. And my animation's not working, but what that would do is it's a way of tracking this voyage. Now, some of this research that we have that has brought us to where we are right now is back in 2002, the National Geographic Society and the Teachers College at Columbia University explored the topic of how do kids learn to draw an accurate world map? And what we discovered is that it happens in 6 distinct stages. Now what I'm going to show you is this is kind of a treat. I didn't expect to have these, but my friend Tonya flew in from Panama night before last and flew right back out to Dominican Republic. But what she brought me were some maps that when she was just in Panama, she asked kids in the classroom to draw maps of the world. And you see, I'm not going to go through all of these, but just a couple. You'll see the same types of maps are drawn in every classroom. In over 300 classrooms we've been to, the same types of maps are drawn every time. We have a list stage. That's the list stage. This is another list stage. This is what you call a puzzle. This is the puzzle stage. These are the 6 cognitive stages kids go through when learning how to draw a world map. Now what's important to notice here is that although this is a different classroom, this is what makes it science that is applicable to every classroom we go to. These kids were asked to draw their world, and this is what they came up with. This one right here with the edges and islands. This is the 5th stage. So going through these various stages, we learned that geography, or maps that we use to translate geography to classrooms, is a puzzle, which is basically a problem of trying to figure out the spatial relationships between places and the things that happen there. I think we need to get a new battery for this game. Okay, so I just showed you. That's when I didn't know that I was going to actually have them. But, so, following a mentor around the world gives you a reason to learn geography. You start thinking about different types of games. All 3rd graders play games. These games now are based in reality. This is the power of virtual travel. It has the ability to spark self-efficacy and intercultural tolerance in young minds, and it helps students establish actionable pathways to career and college. So how do we prepare these kids for global competence? Well, we take them on a journey. We give them more than a map. We have to think about how we teach kids. And we need to think about the overlap of these various skill sets that should be imported into the classroom in order to really understand geography. It's more than a map. It's basically like a puzzle of putting together a map. You've got to put the puzzle together of history, biology, science, and the skills that kids need when they're entering the world. Because in 21st century geography education, we know that 1 in 4 jobs will have a STEM component: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics by 2018. And 1 in 3 jobs will have a global component by 2020. Are the schools we're going to, that we're sending our kids to right now, are they preparing them for this? I don't think so. Not unless they're following. In a recent study by National Geographic Education, only 3 in 10 think it's absolutely necessary for us to know where these places are on the map that are in the news. 73% did not know that the U.S. is the largest exporter of goods and services. They guessed China. 1/3 of the kids tested couldn't even locate Louisiana, and even though they had just learned about Katrina in class, 48% of them couldn't even name where Mississippi was. And when they were told that they could have escaped from Katrina by going northwest, they didn't even know the direction of northwest. So, because fewer than 1 in 5 Americans own a world map. So here, geography has to be taught from all directions. It can't be taught by handing a kid a map and having them memorize the relationships between these places. We are using social media to allow kids to follow this journey. Social media can be bad if you let it absorb every bit of your life, but kids are already using social media, as Fiona pointed out earlier today. They're using it everywhere but classrooms. They already learn about the world using virtual interfaces. So what I'd like to point out here is that social media is being blocked in schools, most schools, but over privacy issues. But I believe it's the adults that have the privacy issues. We're not learning at the same rate that the kids are, and we're not teaching kids how to learn in the way that they absorb. If we can't teach kids to think outside of their local environment, we're chaining them to it. A virtual tour can be something to excite kids and can really give them a chance to blossom and break those chains. If we must give them more than that. We must do a lot more for them. We have to open our own minds up to possibilities that may seem unsafe to us, but they're already doing it anyway. We have to understand where they're coming from and come at them on their own level, on the level of a third grader. So I think of virtual tourism as a window into what can be and what is, and a way of explaining to kids the world about the earth. It's our shared responsibility, and it's something that we need to prepare them for. Otherwise, we're teaching them to not learn how to communicate with each other. We're teaching them that the adults that run the world, that can't agree on things that are self-evident, like climate change and whether or not it exists. We're teaching them that it's okay to look at something that's right there and believe that it doesn't exist. They know that their water's dirty. They know that it's hotter this year than it was last year. But the people who are in charge of making these decisions are not people that are communicating so well. So hopefully, if we can give them more to hold on to, more to work with, in the future they'll be more responsible adults. Thank you so much for your time.